Therefore, after spending the weekend reflecting on what is best for my party, for the government and for the country I lead, I've concluded that repairing our relationship across the political divide can only be done with someone else at the helm. I have therefore informed the SNP's National Secretary of my intention to stand down as party leader and ask that she commences a leadership contest for my replacement as soon as possible.
So a lot of people within Scotland, the UK and perhaps other countries across the world will be smiling right now, ladies and gentlemen, because breaking news as of today, Humza Yousaf has resigned. You all saw his speech at the beginning there, and again, a lot of people are going to be happy about this. If you take a look at social media, the clear opinion is he's not liked that much, and I think that's putting it lightly. You know, a lot of people have wanted him out for quite some time, and rightly so. For example, as I'm sure many of you will know, he introduced these insane hate crime laws that could lead to people potentially getting investigated for misgendering someone online. Yeah, absolutely insane. The new measures aim to tackle the harm caused by hatred and prejudice, but have come under fire from opponents who claim they could stifle free speech and be weaponized to settle scores. How anyone can sit there and say to themselves, yeah, you know what, these hate crime laws are a great idea, it's just beyond me. And it gained worldwide attention from people like Joe Rogan. You had people all over YouTube, X, speaking about it, but it wasn't, say, for example, these hate crime laws that got him into this position in the first place, and all the other woke things he's done and said, like his anti-white speech he gave that went viral. Take a look at this.
The Lord Justice Clerk, white. Every High Court judge, white. The Lord Advocate, white. The Solicitor General, white. The Chief Constable, white. Every Deputy Chief Constable, white. Every Assistant Chief Constable, white. The Head of the Law Society, white. The Head of the Faculty of Advocates, white. Every prison governor, white. And not just justice. The Chief Medical Officer, white. The Chief Nursing Officer, white. The Chief Veterinary Officer, white. The Chief Social Work Advisor, white. Almost every trade union in this country headed by people who are white. In the Scottish Government, every Director General is white. Every chair of every public body is white.
Wow. And that's a politician. Anyway, the final nail in the coffin was actually a deal collapsing with the Green Party, which is kind of interesting the more you think about it. So this article was posted this morning. I actually planned this video this morning and I was waiting for the actual resignation to come around, but this article goes on to say Humza Yousaf considering calling it quits as Scotland's First Minister as early as today. The senior source has said the embattled SNP leader could call it quits today ahead of a key vote of no confidence later this week. Mr. Yousaf is facing 2 no confidence votes at Holyrood in the coming days after the collapse of his power sharing agreement with the Scottish Greens on Thursday. Mr. Yousaf is facing 2 no confidence votes at Holyrood in the coming days after the collapse of his power sharing agreement with the Scottish Greens on Thursday. The 39-year-old, who now runs a minority administration in Edinburgh, sacked the Greens on Thursday, and they have joined the opposition in confirming they will vote to oust him. Talks had been planned with the Alba Party, which is led by now bitter rival Alex Salmond. Its only MSP, Ash Regan, who defected from the SNP last October, was set to cast the deciding vote and determine Mr. Yousaf's future. And let's take a look at this power sharing agreement that collapsed. SNP's power sharing agreement has served its purpose, Humza Yousaf says, as he scraps deal with Scottish Greens. The SNP has terminated its power sharing deal with the Scottish Greens following a bitter row over its climb down on climate targets. It comes after First Minister Humza Yousaf this morning summoned an emergency meeting of his cabinet, usually held on a Tuesday, following speculation over the future of the Holyrood deal, first struck by his predecessor Nicola Sturgeon. Yeah, I'm glad she's gone. Speaking at a news conference, Mr. Yousaf said the benefits of his party's deal with the Greens had outweighed the compromises and delivered a number of successes, but the balance had now shifted. The agreement was intended to provide stability to Scottish government, and it has made possible a number of achievements, but it has served its purpose, he said, which then led the Scottish Greens co-leader to say on the BBC, I think he has caved into the right wing of his party. Take a watch.
The First Minister asked Patrick, Harvey and myself to come along to Butte House for a conversation at which the First Minister told us of his decision to end the Butte House Agreement, which is the cooperation agreement that has been in place between the Scottish Greens and the Scottish Government for the last 2.5 years.
And this was his decision?
This was his decision. And I think that he has caved into the right wing of his party, to some of the most regressive, politics in Scotland, and undone our progressive cooperation agreement. We were doing something new and different, parties cooperating together, investing in nature, working for better living wages for the people of Scotland, and the First Minister has chosen to end that agreement.
Right. Emotive language, caved in, moved to the right. What's your evidence for that?
The evidence for that is the people in the media who are celebrating the end of the cooperation agreement. Some of the most reactionary right-wing voices, the Conservatives, will be delighted. I am sad for the young people of Scotland, for future generations of Scotland. We had a vision working together of a greener, better future. We were enacting that vision. We were putting things into place: free bus travel for young people, ban on incineration, a freeze on rent during the cost of living crisis. And now we are looking at not being able to deliver those things. Of course, the Scottish Greens will continue to push, but we're the last progressive voice.
Yeah, so a lot of conflict going on there. I expect Humza Yousaf was walking on thin ice. Anyway, it was actually, I believe, the Conservatives who put a vote of no confidence in to begin with. And now, because of this deal collapsing, the Green Party, the Scottish Greens, have joined in and they wanted him out as well. Kind of interesting because a couple of days ago, he was actually resilient. He said he wasn't going to resign. Well, look how that turned out. Mr. Yousaf is facing a no confidence vote on his leadership of Scotland and a separate motion of no confidence, and a separate motion of no confidence has also been tabled in the entire Scottish government. Sky News understands Mr. Yousaf could now walk on Monday ahead of the vote. However, no final decision had been made. Obviously, this article was made a couple of days ago. His tune appears to have changed after he insisted during a walkabout in Fife on Saturday he had no intention of resigning. So it seems like reality hit Humza Yousaf pretty hard and he has resigned. And I think if it wasn't, now he was going to resign, it would have come around in the future anyway, because he is a terrible politician, he's a terrible leader, and a lot of people in Scotland have had enough. And let's be real about this, he wasn't even elected by the Scottish people. He was installed after Nicola Sturgeon resigned after all the terrible things she was doing. And this is just the big issue with, people being installed without people being able to vote. It's the same with Rishi Sunak. He wasn't elected by the people, and they only get elected because of, hidden conversations behind the scenes. There is always, in my opinion, a hidden agenda as to why these people get elected. Even Labour have come out and said Scottish people should have the chance to vote in a Holyrood election due to chaos under the SNP. Labour's Deputy National Campaign Coordinator has said. Ellie Reeves told Sky News no one voted for Humza Yousaf, and given all the chaos, I think there should be an election up in Scotland so that people in Scotland can have their say on what's happening up there. At the moment, they have been failed by an SNP government in Holyrood and a Conservative government in Westminster. Yeah, so before this was actually confirmed, with his speech, etc., etc., you could tell he was pretty much done. Not a lot of people like him. I do find it kind of funny when you look at all the things he's done, the hate crime laws that restrict people's freedom of speech, the anti-white rhetoric he's come out with, and all the other woke agendas he aligned himself with, well, almost all of them. And it was this deal collapsing with the Scottish Greens that was the final blow. So it's almost like, the woke activists, the woke will turn on each other when it suits them. But regardless, I will be praying for Scotland. I do hope they can get back on track. Now Humza Yousaf has gone. It is positive news. It's just who replaces him. Anybody from Scotland watching right now, leave your comments down below. Who would you like to see take his place? I think if the Scottish Greens are heavily involved with this and, they have a say who gets in, yeah, not looking too good, I'll just say that one. But leave your thoughts down below. Regardless, if you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out.